The man never expected that his most basic fire-starting skill, spark, would leave the princess utterly speechless. Even the world's top mage, after 200 years of research, could not achieve even 1% of Jack's power. The princess had attempted many times herself but failed to make the flame grow even slightly larger. Yet, because the skill seemed practically useless, Jack had no idea how powerful he truly was. Only those around him were aware of his real strength. At first, John didn't know either. He only heard that Jack had defeated an S-rank monster. So he challenged Jack to a sparring match. For Jack, who dreamed of becoming an adventurer, this was a perfect opportunity, and he agreed immediately. Bystanders thought Jack was looking for trouble. But during the fight, Jack felt his opponent's movements were surprisingly slow. Although John's technique was refined and his rhythm shifts were flawless, to Jack, it all looked like slow motion. He dodged with ease. This led Jack to believe John was holding back to avoid hurting him. After avoiding another strike, Jack told him to stop going easy. It was true John had been somewhat cautious because Jack was human. Hearing that, John decided to go all out in the next exchange. His speed increased noticeably, but after attacking, he was left full of openings, almost as if inviting Jack to strike back. Seeing all his moves effortlessly dodged, John was completely baffled. Why can't I even touch him? Frustrated, John unleashed his ultimate technique. As expected, Jack sidestepped it easily. Then Jack asked, "Can't you move any faster?" The question wasn't meant as an insult, but to John, it was deeply humiliating. Watching John grow furious, Jack assumed he was finally seeing John's true power, and thought he could win. But the next moment, John believed he had finally landed a hit. As the smoke cleared, however, Jack was standing unharmed on the other side. That was the moment John fully accepted defeat. He had no idea what had just happened. It was the first time he had ever been so thoroughly outmatched in a direct fight. Known as a once-in-a-century genius, John had traveled the world seeking strong opponents, often growing bored from having no rivals. Now, facing Jack, he felt the overwhelming gap in their abilities.
もう分かった。これ以上続ける意味はないだろ。部下の前だからって俺に気遣いやがるのか。こんな屈辱はねえぜ。ああ、何が分かったって。ああ、もういい。これで十分だ。それに去り際のあの一言。また次に会えるのを楽しみにしている。
While John had given it his all, Jack still thought his opponent was holding back. It made Jack feel he was still too weak and needed to train much harder. Ironically, the next day, Jack used the sword gifted by the king to clean out a clogged drain. Surprisingly, the legendary blade worked incredibly well. It even scraped off the stubborn grime stuck at the bottom. Had the king seen his sacred sword being used to clear sewer sludge, he would have deeply regretted giving it away. But Jack's creativity didn't stop there. He also thought about using the sword as an ore to earn money, or even as a griddle for cooking street food. Not long before, Jack learned she was a princess, and that she wanted to stay by his side to learn from him. This made him even more eager to send her away. After all, he was just a man from the wilderness. He had nothing he could teach her. The best way to prove he wasn't worth her time was through real combat. So, he quickly brought the princess to the adventurers guild. He asked if there were any quests the two of them could take. The guild master soon explained. As a B-rank adventurer, the princess could take almost any quest, but with Jack being F rank, their average rank dropped by 2 levels. The only quest they could accept was Goblin subjugation. Hearing this, Jack grew excited. He said, "Goblins. Every adventurer in the world starts with goblins." But as an F rank, he'd never been allowed to take such a quest. Thanks to the princess, he was genuinely looking forward to the mission. They accepted the quest without hesitation, but to their surprise, after searching the forest for hours, they didn't find a single goblin. Just as they were about to give up, the princess suddenly sensed what seemed like a monster's presence, but when they got closer, the energy faded. She thought she might have imagined it, but then Jack spotted a goblin's body hanging from a tree. Following his cue, the princess also noticed a deeply hidden magical aura nearby. When they broke through the concealment, they discovered it was a goblin king, a monster comparable to an S-rank threat. While the princess stood speechless in shock, Jack, seeing one for the first time, didn't realize how unusual this was. It looked different from the descriptions he'd heard, but it had green skin, walked on 2 legs, and used tools, exactly like the book said. In the eyes of adventurers everywhere, this kind of creature was supposed to be a low-level foe. The princess's reaction puzzled him, but no matter how strong, it was still just one goblin. After telling the princess to stay calm, he suggested they fight it together. "Just one goblin, it's nothing," he said. But the princess misunderstood. She thought Jack was completely confident that even a goblin king was no match for it. What's more, she suspected Jack had sensed its presence all along, and that's why he took this simple quest. Gathering her courage as the goblin king charged, its presence was overwhelming, but Jack showed no fear. He didn't know his own strength, but after 14 years of practicing parries, he was sure he could handle this. When it came to blocking, Jack was confident he could withstand any level of attack without falling. While he drew the Goblin King's attention, the princess cast offensive spells, but to their surprise, the Goblin King dodged with ease. Something so large moved with startling speed. Not only that, unable to reach them in close combat, it switched to long-range attacks, though Jack noticed in time, and blocked with his parry skill. The Goblin King didn't stop after one strike. It began a continuous ranged assault, throwing trees thick as telephone poles, as easily as if they were chalk. Jack blocked every one, but the princess made a worse discovery. Even for a Goblin King, its recovery speed was too fast. Not only did it regain stamina quickly, it could also heal wounds instantly. The cause was likely the magic gem on its forehead. She told Jack to destroy the gem. That might be the key to defeating it. But this troubled Jack. If even the princess's spells couldn't hit it, how could he get close enough? Just then, an idea came to him. He told the princess to aim a powerful spell at him. Using the burst of momentum, he could close in on the Goblin King. The princess was stunned. What if she hurt Jack? This wasn't something you could do just by being strong. But Jack was confident. He explained he wouldn't take the magic head-on. He would block it with his sword. To match the Goblin King's speed, this was the only way. Seeing Jack's certainty, the princess set her doubts aside in the critical moment. Jack successfully knocked away the magic gem, and in that fleeting opening, the princess followed up with her strongest fire spell. Without the gem's power, the Goblin King's strength dropped sharply, and it lost its terrifying healing ability. One great fireball was enough to wipe it from existence. Soon, the princess's brother received the report. He learned that his sister had encountered a Goblin King, not only survived, but came back without a scratch. Amazed by Jack's power, he admired his father's foresight in giving Jack that black sword to build goodwill. That sword was known as the Unbreaking Blade. No technique or skill could leave even a trace of damage on it. When his father was young, he ventured with the 6 saints to the deepest part of the labyrinth, and obtained this priceless treasure. At first, the brother thought giving it to Jack was too much, but now it seemed like a brilliant move. He also grew suspicious about the Goblin King's appearance. After all, such artificially created monsters had been banned years ago as illegal. Instantly, a possibility came to mind. The princess's brother had approached Jack with an unusual request. He wanted Jack to depart with the princess the next morning for the nearby mountain region. He would provide a carriage and 1 guard for the journey, with generous compensation upon completion. Though suspicious, Jack accepted. This commission came through the Adventurers Guild, and the guild master himself advised Jack to treat it as an ordinary trip. With such official reassurance, Jack saw no reason to doubt. His real motivation for accepting was simpler. He'd never ridden in a carriage before, and wanted to experience it. Unbeknownst to him, the princess wore a troubled expression. She sensed this journey wouldn't be as straightforward as promised. Her suspicions proved correct. Their guard knew the true nature of their mission, but couldn't disclose it due to confidential orders. The previous night, the prince had secretly informed him their kingdom faced an unprecedented crisis. If they received news of the capital's destruction during their travels, he should immediately escort both to safety. Since the Goblin Emperor's appearance, the prince had been investigating seemingly minor incidents across the kingdom. Reports showed increasing numbers of missing pets and livestock acting strangely fearful. His investigation revealed an enemy nation's covert infiltration, likely using advanced concealment magic similar to the Goblin Emperor's abilities, hence the prince's secret orders. Meanwhile, Jack noticed movement in the wheat field. When the princess looked closer, she realized it wasn't ordinary movement. Monsters were hiding there using magic concealment. She immediately cast a spell to dispel the invisibility field. As expected, as an invisible barrier shattered, the Black Death Dragon materialized before them. What they didn't know was, this wasn't an isolated incident. Monsters were attacking every corner of the kingdom simultaneously. The Goblin Emperor that Jack had struggled to defeat. Now multiple copies appeared, forcing all 6 saints to mobilize immediately. The attacks were clearly coordinated. While Jack's group faced their monster, Jenny immediately recognized both the Black Death Dragon and the humanoid as a demon. Before she could process why monsters would attack a demon, Jack charged into battle. This shocked Jenny. In her understanding, demons weren't allies, but beings more forbidden than the Black Death Dragon itself. Yet Jack acted unaware of this. Blocking the dragon's attacks to protect the demon youth. Though surprised by Jack's intervention, Jenny remained focused on the demon. She shared her suspicions with the princess, who recalled historical records about demons. While they resembled humans, documents from 200 years ago indicated they once manipulated violent monsters to nearly destroy an entire nation. Despite this knowledge, the princess wanted to help Jack. The Black Death Dragon was no ordinary foe, but Jenny stopped her, declaring Jack already beyond saving. As if confirming her words, the dragon released a strange substance. Jack initially tried to dodge, but seeing the demon youth behind him, decided to block the attack instead. This proved disastrous. The block exposed him to the dragon's deadly poison, the creature's most feared weapon. This was exactly why Jenny hadn't helped. The Black Death Dragon's toxin was incurable, capable of killing with mere inhalation. Even the healing saint among the 6 saints couldn't counter it. The princess, though at a distance, already struggled to avoid the spreading miasma, let alone assist Jack up close. Just as Jenny mentally wrote Jack off as dead, a dragon claw landed beside her. Looking up, she saw Jack not only surviving, but still fighting stubbornly despite his condition. Though astonished, she could see Jack was at his limit. His collapse seemed inevitable. Sure enough, Jack soon faltered, but Jenny didn't know. That in this critical moment, Jack had a strange realization. The legendary toxin felt surprisingly manageable. When he was a child, he'd often picked wild plants in the mountains to stave off hunger. He thought that even if he ate something poisonous, the worst that would happen was an upset stomach. He never expected he'd ingested one of the deadliest toxins known, the dragon's bane mushroom. Using the most basic low-level healing spell, he managed to temporarily suppress the venom inside him. Later, he looked it up in a book and realized what he'd eaten. Even with the poison temporarily contained, Jack still went off to do his daily training. But during one gathering trip, he stumbled into a whole new world. He was bitten by a venom spine serpent and poisoned again. Yet this time, his body showed no reaction at all. He even brought the snake back, roasted it, and found it surprisingly delicious. The next day, he deliberately caught another venom spine serpent to bite him, and found the poison spread unusually slowly. His body seemed to have developed a resistance. He'd hoped to turn this into a chance to learn a new skill, so he kept seeking out toxic creatures to eat. In the end, he didn't learn any new ability, but his poison resistance reached an incredible level. He also discovered something. Poisonous creatures were unusually tasty. Over time, he formed a kind of stereotype. If it's toxic, it's probably delicious. The young man watching from behind was shocked. How could anyone fight such a terrifying monster alone? The Black Death Dragon grew furious. As Jack repeatedly blocked its attacks, it suddenly opened its gaping jaws wide.
でかい。おそらくこれがこのカエルの生死を閉じた一撃。だがハリー！
Everyone who saw it was stunned. What the dragon never saw coming was that one day it would be killed by its own venom. Looking at the completely corroded corpse, Jack felt a little surprised. He hadn't known there were such large, dangerous frogs outside the city. Then another thought hit him. It was kind of a shame. A frog this toxic might have been delicious. He turned to the young man behind him and noticed he looked quite pale. Maybe he'd been scared by the fight. Did you come here alone? Jack asked. The young man nervously explained that the monster was actually something he'd promised to bring to the city. Jack's mind instantly filled with assumptions. This youth had gone to great lengths to transport a poisonous frog to the city. He must have been planning to sell it as ingredients. He even thought the youth had used concealment magic to keep the frog fresh during transport and to avoid being robbed along the way. Jack suddenly felt deeply guilty. What if that frog was the result of 2.5 years of careful breeding, and he just destroyed the boy's most important product? I'll definitely compensate you, he said. The young man was taken aback by the offer, and quickly replied that no compensation was needed. Though Jack still felt bad, he asked how the youth had managed to bring such a fierce creature all the way here. Hesitantly, the boy explained that he'd been born with the ability to control monsters. He expected Jack to look at him with disgust, but instead, Jack was genuinely envious, as if this were a heaven-sent gift.
僕は
魔族？
魔族はみんなそういうことができて。
ああ、つまりその魔族というのはそういう能力を持った部族で、そこでは普通のことなんだな。
Jack was on a completely different wavelength. He started imagining all the ways he could use such a power. He could ask animals to help plow fields, use birds to deliver messages, and never have to worry about wild dog attacks when camping. Unbeknownst to him, his reaction made the youth curious. It was precisely because demons often possessed such abilities that people feared and hated their kind. But Jack didn't see it that way. No matter what anyone says, this is an ability that can help a lot of people. If you don't want it, I take it in a heartbeat. Jack didn't understand. How could someone with such a remarkable gift think so little of themselves? He didn't know the reason, but he believed that if the young man wanted to, he could help far more people than Jack ever could.